Yeah, right there. So, hello everyone. Hope you had a great time so far. Now, we are going to take you through the world of logistics and tell you the story of how Vue emerged as a driver for global trade. I'm Mariam Reba Alexander. I'm a software engineer working at Maersk, and I primarily do front-end web development for Maersk.com's Air and LCL team. I'm also a front-end community host, and I also do blogging about web testing and web security and JavaScript. I have spoken at JSWORLD Online and DevFest Sweden last year, and this is my first time at vue.js Amsterdam.
Hi. Oh, yes, give it up for Mariam.
Thank you.
My name is also Alexander, and I also work as a software engineer at Maersk. I work on Maersk.com with analytics, personalization and recommendation, and experimentation. So I experiment with front-end, automation, and digitization. But before we dive into the topic today and tell you about how Vue drives global trade, one needs to have a bit of an understanding on the world of logistics. So we'll give you a sneak peek. Imagine you wanted to purchase a product online, a new keyboard perhaps. You'd browse the web, find the model you like, pay for it and order it, and in the next couple of days it ends up at your doorstep. But have you ever wondered how it got there? Or the van before that? Or maybe the warehouse before that? Or whatever journey it may have taken across the world? And what does any of this have to do with Vue?
That's where a logistic provider like Maersk comes into the picture. Raise hands if you know about Maersk. Wow, I see a lot of hands. Thank you. You would have seen a container with Maersk logo on a truck or a ship at least once in your lifetime. Or perhaps some of you would have remembered the movie Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks. So who is Maersk? Maersk is a global integrator in container logistics, offering integrated logistics solutions to connect and simplify global supply chain. In simple terms, we help people move goods from one place to another. To give you an idea of how it connects to you sitting here, 90% of the things that you own have at some point been inside a container, at least once, and in some shape or form.
We're currently over 95,000 employees working on-site and off-site in more than 130 countries. But we're not just shipping goods, we're becoming a tech company. And we've grown from 500 to 6,000 tech employees in just the last 5 years. And we're officially now the largest tech employer in Denmark, but have tech colleagues all around the globe. We are continuously digitizing the way we send tons of goods around the world and simplify global trade.
So how does Maersk help move a product from one place to another? Each product has a unique journey. And what you see here is a typical supply chain journey of a product that moves from a manufacturer to a shop or a customer's warehouse. Let's look at an example. Say you are a farmer at Costa Rica, and you want to export 500 boxes of bananas from Costa Rica to Gothenburg, Sweden. After receiving a purchase order from the buyer in Sweden, the shipper then who exports the bananas goes online in Maersk.com, checks for the available departure date from the origin, checks the prices, and books a container. Now, these containers could be refrigerated containers, as it may take several days for the bananas to reach to the destination. On confirming the booking, Maersk then issues some documentation proofs for the shipper to export and import. The day has arrived for the bananas to be picked up. The packaged bananas are then loaded into a container and then transported on a truck to a cold storage warehouse. The cold storage warehouse also helps the bananas to be kept in good condition. And it's where the pre-inspection checks takes place to see if they meet the export standards. The warehouse manages its operations using different technologies, like automated softwares and tools, like warehouse management system, inventory management software, etc.
On the day of departure, the container with the bananas is taken to the terminal. It's from the terminal that the container is loaded onto the vessel for the next part of its journey. On our vessels, we have applications that are continuously optimizing routes for fuel efficiency. This also helps us reduce CO2 emissions. We also have machine learning models that are continuously helping us more accurately predict container arrival times. But we also use a variety of technology in our terminals. The moving of containers is automated with remote cranes, IoT sensors, and automated guided vehicles. Here we also use machine learning models, but to optimize the stacking of containers, all the way down to the aerodynamics of the wind flowing between container stacks.
The banana containers have now reached its destination terminal. The shipper and the buyer would have received an arrival notification through an app. The container is then taken through import checks, after which it goes to the warehouses. Then it can be either fully transferred to a truck, or the journey is split if they have to go to different store locations. Meanwhile, the payments are made by both the parties, and a delivery order is issued to the receiving party to receive the packages. And Maersk helps them to manage all the documents that requires for payment and invoicing. Now, after distributing the bananas to the stores, they then return the empty container back to the terminal yard.
As you could see, intercontinental shipping is a complicated process, with many still manual and automated operations, and documentation like insurance, customs, authorizations, and communications that all need to be checked and verified. This is where technology can step in and help us simplify some of these processes. One of our largest technological enablers is Maersk.com. Maersk.com is one of the world's largest e-commerce websites, not just in business to business, but in consumer websites as well. Alone in 2022, Maersk.com handled over $4 million in container bookings every hour. And it may excite you to hear that most of the applications that facilitate our users on their logistics journey are built with Vue. Yeah, we can.
Great. Today, there are over 100 internal and external-facing Vue applications. They connect the different steps of the supply chain journey that we saw earlier. And this number increases as we continue to automate the processes end-to-end.
But the main reason we came here today was to share our developer story, to share how Vue has shaped and scaled Maersk's digital solutions as they are today. A few years ago, we had our main traffic-generating apps running on older frameworks like Backbone.js and Play. Here are some screenshots of the older applications running on Maersk.com. Backbone was a finer framework to use in the 2010s, but with development in web technology, it felt harder to continue to use it. Did I go?
Yeah.
Did my sound go? Yeah,
yes.
I could hear that too. Should I just yell louder or?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Did I stand
Yeah.
or something?
No.
No, you're still going. I can just
Hello?
stand close to you.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, just the mic? All right, cool. Then I can stand here closer. Sorry. Backbone.js was a fine framework, but with the developments in web tech, it felt harder to continue to use it. And as our applications grew larger and more complex, it was harder to make changes and to scale. We started using Vue around 2018 with some smaller applications and proof of concepts, and we quickly realized the power that it held and saw major benefits over our legacy applications. We saw a reduced bundle size and much easier configuration. We saw a reduced feature development time, fewer bugs, and it was easier to test. And the reusability of code across projects finally gave us some consistency. We also saw a dramatic increase in performance over our legacy applications.
More and more applications were later migrated to Vue. Finally, our main app, the booking journey, was also migrated to Vue. This enhanced the user experience significantly. We had a saving of 66% of loading time from 7.4 seconds down to 2.5 seconds. We had 12.9 million page views last year, and we saved our customers approximately a combined 17,000 hours in loading time.
As Maersk was expanding its technology, so was the number of front-end developers, and we needed a way to maintain code consistency and best practice across multiple teams in different locations. This is why we created our front-end community of practice. We are currently over 700 members, and we meet regularly to align standards, share best practices, demo applications, and just talk about the latest tech trends. You may have noticed on the older applications that the designs were inconsistent. That's because before Vue, we didn't have a design system to conform to, and the communities weren't yet well established. Having chosen Vue, we decided to standardize our website through community standards, and the Vue CLI was essential for this. We created an inner-sourced CLI template plugged in with design system styles that supported the multi-brands of Maersk. This gave us consistency and great performance out the box with zero configuration needed from our application teams.
We aligned our tech stack with the Vue ecosystem at the time: Vuex, Vue Router, Babel, and Jest. And this was to increase the support and the longevity of the applications. We also made a contribution back to the Vue CLI. One of the settings of the Babel needed to be added as a JavaScript rather than a string. But this was not our last contribution either. More on that later.
One of the joys of working with a component-based framework as we are today is the reuse of atomic components through dependencies. And we invested heavily in this inner source approach, and hand in hand with UX and designers, we created a design system for Vue. A small community team manages the core components, but anyone from our community can contribute. As any good design system, it gave our website consistency. And Vue made it easy to develop, consume, and test these components. They were even easy to theme thanks to their single file component nature.
This is exceptionally useful, as Maersk isn't just one brand. There are 4 different brands that serve 4 different areas of the world. Our applications are aware of this branding, and the same components are styled accordingly across different instances of these apps. Up until this point, all our Vue applications were client-side rendered. They were fast, but they were all behind a login. So SEO was not a consideration. As we continued to develop, we needed web pages that needed to be SEO critical. And we had some APIs that we couldn't call client-side. So we needed to do server-side rendering, and that's where Nuxt comes in.
We developed our careers and product listing pages with Nuxt, as these pages needed to be easily indexable by search engines, and they had APIs on their pages that couldn't be called due to the cause restrictions. And Nuxt also gave us a way to securely connect to our internal APIs. Here's a table comparing some core web vitals, FCP and LCP, of our old client-side and new server-side rendered product listing pages. As you can see, there are significant improvements all the way in the 95th percentile. The takeaway being, performance-wise, our new server-side rendered page is head and shoulders above the old. But Maersk is much more than just its website. The website is just a part of the journey, as you saw earlier with the banana. And the impact of Vue can be seen across our entire organization.
There are thousands of applications running global trade, from large ones like the booking system down to the small ones that run vessel crew rotas. They all need to be part of one global ecosystem. So the components that were built for the website started to spread across the company. They first made their way to the logistics and services platform applications, and then to the more business-focused applications.
However, in 2021, we ran into a problem. As the design system grew, teams from other areas of logistics also wanted to use it. And as in other large companies, not all teams were using Vue. With the components only available in Vue, they weren't able to get the benefits of the design system. So we needed a new approach to allow our design system to continue to grow. The components had to work in Vue, of course, as primary consumer, but also be future-friendly for whatever framework comes next.
For problems like this, we turned to web standards and custom element specification. We wanted our components to work with any framework and without framework as well. We knew that styling is important, and scoping those styles to the components is highly desirable. Design systems are great, but if any developer can change a global font, then you don't have control of your design. We also wanted the portability that Vue gave us and that easy interface of a component to work with.
Custom elements gives you all of these things. To a user, this is a button. To a developer, it's an MC button with custom attributes. But to the browser, it has its own internal structure, almost like a life of its own. This means we could have highly complex components without the need for virtual DOMs for performance and keep a great developer experience. We chose Lit as a wrapper framework for our custom elements and worked together with the team at Google to create our elements as they are today. They fit in perfectly with how we use them at Maersk and the Vue ecosystem at large. On our goal to achieve a consistent experience, though, some things had to go, and one of them was IE 11.
We are now also...
We can take a round of applause for that too.
Yes, sure, sure. We agree. We are now also on our journey to Vue 3. We had originally held off on all these upgrades until we ended the support for Internet Explorer last June. You can read about it on Google's web.dev blog, written by our own lead engineer, Steve Workman. Being a global company, we have users from every country and every device type on the planet. 234 different regions and countries last month alone. This variety of users meant that we needed to support Internet Explorer right until the end of its life. With that deadline passed, we started migrating our Vue applications to Vue 3 and introduced our updated design system to Maersk.
The Vue components have blossomed into a web standard set of custom elements that can be deployed anywhere, from our e-commerce website to the vessel and port systems. On our journey of our Vue 2 to Vue 3 migration, we've learned some key things along the way. We created a template project as the foundation for all new and migrating applications in the organization. We used Vite to modernize our stack with ES modules and easy TypeScript support. We saw improved speeds, hot reloads, and plugins. Previously, some of our applications were taking well over a minute to start up due to the sheer number and complexity of our components. Vite has reduced this to milliseconds.
For the migration of existing apps, we encourage the use of Vuex as the changes needed are almost non-existent, and so the knowledge gap will not slow down the process. But for the newer projects, we are using Pinia with Composition API to gain the performance and the code type benefits that the project framework offers. The same picture applies for unit testing. We encourage the use of Vite rather than Jest because it gives the same speed benefits as Vite. And it is also compatible with older JS tests, so the projects that do migrate will have minimal overhead.
Our applications rely on a lot of user input, and as all of us here know, we can never trust the user's input. vValidate was upgraded for Vue 3 and makes excellent use of the Composition API, removing boilerplate code and keeping the developer experience smooth. Although we got great performance from Nuxt, we weren't able to use our universal design system in SSR, as our design system was a set of custom elements in the lightweight Lit framework. These elements use DOM APIs, such as custom HTML element and the custom element registry to create their structure. But the Lit team had an experimental library that shimmed this functionality and enabled us to render our custom elements in SSR.
We worked directly with Prashant Pelike, a Vue community member in the Netherlands, to co-author the library. With some help from Google team and some advice from Daniel Rowe, we built a plugin that can render Lit elements server-side on Nuxt 3. These elements are complete with templated shadow roots, encapsulated styles, and custom element hydration. And they behave like any other Vue component. This wasn't as simple as we had hoped, and our input has resulted in a change in how Lit polyfills DOM APIs on the server, and it was rolled out with 2.6.
This work also affected the Astro and Eleventy plugins, making SSR easier for all these frameworks moving forward. This now meant we could use our framework-agnostic design system anywhere, from our SEO-sensitive applications to our performance-critical applications. You can try it yourself. Just install Nuxt SSR Lit in your next Nuxt 3 project. Again, a huge thank you to Prashant, the Lit team, and Daniel for making this happen. Round of applause for all of them.
So we talked in the beginning how supply chain works, the journey of a banana from farms to the shops, and the involvement of technology in this, and especially Vue. Then we went through the adoption story of Vue at Maersk and how and why the front-end community built Vue shared components that helped shape the current design system with custom lit elements. And then we touched upon how the future of the Maersk Vue ecosystem looks like and our contribution to open source. Before we close, we'd like to share this with you. Trade is all around us. Look around you. Most of the things that you see came from somewhere else. Trade made it happen. Logistics made it possible. And we keep the world's supply chain running. Every day, we help our customers move almost 20% of the world's food, materials, and goods. The items we all thrive to live, work. Vue is enabling Maersk supply chain solutions. When you, the Vue community, is contributing to Vue, you are enabling global trade. You are becoming part of the future of global supply chain, changing lives and businesses.
So thank you all, and thank you very much for listening. That's the end of our presentation. Feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn, Twitter, mail. If you want to find out more about Maersk, go to maersk.com. And if you want to join us in moving global trade into the future, visit our careers page. Have a great conference, and thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all.